From the second book of Samuel. After the king was settled in his palace, and the Lord had given him rest from all his enemies around him, he said to Nathan the prophet, "Here I am, living in a house of cedar, while the ark of God remains in a tent." But that night the word of the Lord came to Nathan, saying, "Go and tell my servant David, this is what the Lord says. Are you the one to build me a house to dwell in? I have not dwelt in a house from the day I brought the Israelites up out of Egypt to this day. I have been moving from place to place with a tent as my dwelling. Wherever I have moved with all the Israelites, did I ever say to any of their rulers whom I commanded to shepherd my people Israel, 'Why have you not built me a house of cedar?'"
Hello. We are 4 days before celebrating Christmas. Many things, I imagine, are already finished. Many preparations still needs to be done. And perhaps the story that we just heard from the second book of Samuel can help us to understand a little bit better what we're about to live in the next days. We have heard about honorable and probably very honest desire of King David to make a house, to make a better, convenient place for God. David, before becoming a king, was a shepherd in a small town of Bethlehem, and he, as we heard in the story, he understands that it's God who establishes him as a king, who gives him rest from his enemies, and that's why he wants to do something for God, realizing that he himself lives in quite luxurious conditions for that time, in the house of cedar. Cedars were the wood, precious wood coming from Lebanon in that time, and he wants to build a house to God. But God refuses this proposal that David makes. "Don't you be preoccupied about my dwelling place. Don't you worry about my glory." And what follows next is clearly a prophecy saying there will be somebody of your posterity, somebody from your house, your son, who will build a temple, who will build a dwelling place, who will make your house remaining forever. Not speaking only about Solomon, but clearly speaking of Messiah, of Son of God, as later the prophecy of Prophet Micah says, will be born in the town of Bethlehem. We could use the story of King David and to link it with the story of Nativity of Jesus. When Jesus was born, even though he was a son of God, he was not born in the temple, he was not born in the royal palace, but as the gospel writer Luke says, he was born in a stable where there were the animals, where there was the dirt of the animals, where there was their stench, because there was no place for Mary and Joseph in Bethlehem, far away from the city, unnoticed by mighty and powerful ones, neither by the religious authorities of that time. Perhaps that could be the message of this fourth Sunday of Advent. As in the story of King David being preoccupied to find a worthy place for God, we are reminded that Jesus coming to be born in few days also in our hearts is not looking for the best, but he wants to be born in our hearts, in our lives, as they are. Not being preoccupied by finding the best, the most fitting, the worthy place can take a lot of pressure from our shoulders. Bethlehem that teaches us that God's desire to be with us was stronger, is stronger than our tendency to overlook or not to put the importance to the places, to the situations, to the things in our lives that He finds extremely precious. And as once in the stable far behind the center of Bethlehem, something can happen, because the paradox that David had to learn and understand is the very same for us. God's greatness is not diminished by who we are if we have the desire to welcome Him and to live with Him from now on.